Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Happy Friday! And welcome to the ultimate Cleveland sports show. We are so glad you can be with us.
I feel like we need to play this, with Jay's jacket today. Highway to
I'm going to have to take it off.
Zone.
I'm going to have to take it off. I left the house, it was 40.
You layered up.
Hey, man.
I am layered up, man. I'm not ready for this. I hate cold weather.
We froze last night.
I bet.
Night.
By the way, nice sack by your boy last night.
He had a good game.
I wish we could show that. Is there any way we could show that?
Pull that up.
Like, there's got to be a way you can send that to Mike.
If you text it to me, I could.
It was texted last night to the group chat.
Well, do you mind,
I want the viewers to see this.
Do you mind if I tweet it, Jason? I need to tweet it to get it in this system.
Oh, to get it to the tag board or whatever?
Yes. Actually, you know what? Give me a second. I'll work on it.
All right, you work on that.
DM it to you.
In the meantime, I want to bring up a day that probably very few folks know is a landmark. Today is the 30th anniversary of the World Series returning to Cleveland after a 41-year hiatus.
Wow.
This was Game 3.
95.
Braves-Indians, 95. What a great game that was. Yeah. They won in extra innings on an Eddie Murray soft single to center that scored Alvaro Espinoza, I believe.
I don't remember that game.
Well, you were young. Well, how?
I'm that young. The one I remember.
Yeah, I guess you weren't that young.
The one I remember was the Game 1 of the Red Sox series that went 15 innings.
Yeah, that was
the Pena homer.
That was a great game.
I don't remember Game 1 of the World Series. It's all like a blur.
Well, they had won 1 and 2 in Atlanta by a run each.
Yeah.
That was the World Series that notoriously had awful umpires.
No, they gave Greg
the worst
Maddux,
I've ever seen.
They gave Greg Maddux everything over here.
Everything.
When I sat with Albert, he said they were giving him a ball off the plate. And
at least.
Yeah, and he's like, these guys are you don't have to give them that. Like, they're so good if you give them that on top of it.
And what really, so I'm doing a 30-year piece that's going to run tonight on Channel 3, looking back. Interviewed a lot of former players. Kenny Lofton was the strongest of the players who flat out comes out and said that World Series was taken from us. We were cheated. They were notorious for having great eyes at the plate, all of them. They were very disciplined hitters. They would spit on balls that were even on the edges. And then in the World Series, the entire script flipped. How did a team that set all kinds of offensive records get held to a 179 batting average? And I know the Braves had an all-time great starting staff, but I went back and watched almost all of the action. And I had forgotten just how egregious it was.
With all of ESPN technology now and all the pitch tracking data, somebody should go back on that.
I've said that.
Go back on that series, pitch by pitch, and see. It's easy for them to say that. It's easy for us to remember. Let's go back and see.
Yeah. What
really
was the percentage rate? If they would have graded out as probably the worst crew in World Series history. And I know it sounds like sour grapes, but Kenny, and we didn't put this in the piece because the piece was more about like celebrating a time 30 years ago that really led to the Renaissance that we're still in today, actually.
That crew ain't celebrating nothing.
But what was interesting was, and I just didn't think it was appropriate for the piece, but twice, unprovoked, Kenny said, I know that this word is going to be strong and people are going to look at it, but we were cheated. Wow. Go back and look at the umpiring. It was taken from us.
And it's interesting because it's a different.
They weren't cheated. It was bad. They were consistently calling bad calls.
Here's what I'd say.
Is he insinuating the league was cheating for the Braves? That doesn't make any sense.
What he's insinuating is because,
and
it's always been this way, just like the NBA gives the home team the edge. I've always looked at that and said, wait a minute. Why? Why does the home team get the calls?
Why do you get that call?
That's dumb. It's either a foul on the road or at home or it's not. But what he's insinuating is, and this is, it's an unwritten baseball rule, the legends, the guys that are notorious for nibbling, that can put it wherever they want, they get the breaks.
I remember, Eric Gregg in particular was the umpire that was the most egregious. Was it every game of the series?
It was, I watched, there were 6 games.
Yeah.
I watched most of everything because yesterday I was trying to find the VO because in the tag to the piece I actually talk, because Kenny skirted around it in the piece, and I wanted to clarify it at the end and say what he was talking about for those that didn't remember it or weren't alive.
Yeah.
And I went back and I was scanning all of the raw from the game, the actual games, and it wasn't hard to find the calls at all. And I also...
It's a different plate umpire every game.
Yeah, they
that's
rotate.
The odd thing. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Right,
saying.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's not just
but
one
it's a-
umpire.
But I'm with you, Jay, and I think someone will do this at some point. But like I even watched when the Indians, and remember, the Indians had 2 all-time greats too.
You're saying they weren't getting the same calls?
They were not. I'm not saying that.
I got to
They
go
weren't.
back and look at it.
Yeah, go back
myself.
and
I'd
watch.
like
All
to-
the games are on
because
YouTube.
the league didn't cheat for the Braves. It doesn't make any sense. There's no reasonable reason the league would cheat.
No, I don't think they set out to do that. What I
Right.
think they were subconsciously doing
Yeah.
was giving guys who notoriously nibble
Yeah.
and have great control the benefit of the doubt. There was a called third strike during a rally of one of the losses on Jim Thome. And Thome had one of the best eyes of the era.
Yeah.
That you look at and you're like, on what universe? In what universe is that ball a strike? It was in the other batter's box.
They was giving Steve Avery calls, and Avery was the no-name gangster.
Yeah,
he was a soft-handed lefty.
To answer your question, Bull, I don't think they got together ahead of time and said, okay, look, the Braves are the greatest team never to win.
Yeah.
Let's give them
Well,
one.
if they're throwing games, now's the time to bring it out.
Yeah, right.
Just get it all out.
Hey, nothing is outside the realm of reasonability.
In general, during those years, the Braves got a lot of calls.
Well,
not
they
just
did.
in that World Series,
because
but in general.
because of the pitchers
Hall
that
of
they
Fame
had.
Yeah.
You know,
And as much as we complain about the umpiring now, it's way better than it used to be.
I agree with that.
Way
yeah,
better. It's
it
not even
is.
close.
It
I mean,
is.
those guys were. Every umpire had their own strike zone then.
Yes,
Like, that
and you
doesn't
had
really
to figure
exist
it out in the
anymore.
first 3 innings, which was
And,
bananas.
and then would tell you, hey, dog, you keep talking, you up out of here.
That's right.
Oh, there was no leash.
There was none.
The beauty of it is, and I kept thinking this as I was watching it. Next year, all of this changes in baseball.
Yes.
And I couldn't help but think, what if that were in play in '95?
Yeah. Well,
how many calls would have been challenged and overturned?
But you can't. Unfortunately, you can only challenge, I think, 2 or 3 pitches.
No, you can only be wrong twice, I believe.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
if you're right, it doesn't count against you. Now, I could be wrong. Someone could check me on that. The
Okay.
way I remember reading the rule was correct challenges. You're not punished for correct challenges.
That's good. That's how it
So,
should be.
It
hope
is how
that.
it should be, and that's how I.
Yeah, I hope
mine
you're right.
think it is.
I didn't
I
read
hope
that,
I'm right
but,
too.
yeah.
Someone will look that up. Mike, busy day. 90 minutes here before we go over to Channel 3 for 30 minutes of.
Never before seen content. And before we do that, we got the video for Jason. So, Jason, you want to give us a little play-by-play?
Take us through it.
On the big play. from
Oh,
last
it's
night.
third down call, second half last night, Avon Lake at Berea Mid Park. Last game of the season, Avon Lake co-champs. AJ's coming, 77 coming off the edge, gets around the left tackle and mashes. And look at the left tackle. The poor guy with his hands on his helmet. He feels awful. This poor kid.
Okay, I see the rip off the edge. He didn't even see him coming. He ripped.
Then he did nice flex when after he
Well,
gets sacked.
he got a little carried away. I cut the video too soon.
Yeah.
That was one thing his coach, the one thing his coaches yelled at him about this year was like, all right, tone down the celebration.
Hey,
Act like you've been here before.
Act like you've been there before.
listen,
Players celebrate in the professionals. Why can't the kids celebrate? As long as you don't humiliate your opponent.
I felt so bad for the left tackle.
Let's
he's
go.
a big kid too,
Yeah.
Jay.
Well, AJ blew around kids all year long. It's just he has to learn how to finish.
Now he's a freshman.
Freshman, yeah.
And I'm with a skill set like that. I mean, I know size always comes into play, but I would think that he would be in the mix for varsity minutes next
he
year.
will. They've already told him like
Oh,
he's
that's
got to get
fantastic.
bigger. Like he's got to put more muscle on.
Yeah.
But he said he'll be under consideration, which is all you can ask.
That's great, man. Congratulations.
I'm surprised he
It's
can
a lot
still
of
walk
fun.
after how much he played this year.
AJ, hey, let me talk to you real quick. AJ, listen, I know you're supposed to listen to your father. I told you all the time, listen to your father. Do not be disrespectful. But when it comes to them sack celebrations, keep on going. We condone all the smoke. I like it. I like the energy. Yeah.
Right now, Avon, the coaches are going, no.
But congratulations, Avon Lake Shoreman. Freshman team. Varsity's having a rough year. Freshmen won the conference yesterday.
Wow.
And we should have 2 freshmen on the field tonight during the varsity game.
Oh, really?
Chris Galding is a dude. He's been a freshman receiver. He's played varsity all year as a freshman.
As a receiver.
Ryan Day came and checked on him during Ohio State's bye week. Like, he's legit. He'll play SEC Big Ten one day. We got another kid, senior Max Riley, who's going to Ohio State. So Ryan came to check on
So he
Max,
was there anyhow,
and then
yeah.
he spent some time with Chris. And then congratulations, Wakely Casterline getting a call up tonight. One of AJ's buddies off the freshman team. Wakely MVP had a phenomenal year.
What
And
position?
Linebacker / receiver. I think he'll be
right.
more defense in high school.
Nice.
Wakely had a tremendous year, and they're calling him up tonight. to
Nice
play
program over there,
varsity.
too.
Down year this year, but sophomore and junior class, freshmen, sophomore, and juniors, freshmen and sophomores particularly, a couple years.
So, yeah.
Will be pretty
His
good.
senior season.
Yeah, his junior year especially.
Yeah.
There's a couple dudes below his class, and there's some dudes above him.
Yeah.
And we literally won conference this year playing 14 guys. That's it. They played 14 guys all year.
Tongues hanging out and all.
Crazy.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy.
It was a
That
great
is
year. It was a lot
crazy.
of fun. I'm sad it's over. On to swimming.
Yeah, next.
All right, guys. Well, we'll keep the football for Jason going here on UCSS if he can't get it from his son. Our first topic of the day is brought to us by Rippling. If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS, that's SAD, software as a disservice, and that's why you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform from HR, payroll, IT, and finance, all in one place. Rippling's helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. And right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/LockedOnNFL. Learn more at Rippling, RIPPLING.com/LockedOnNFL. Rippling.com/LockedOnNFL for 6 months free. Terms and conditions apply. Guys, we're going to start with the quarterback position for the Browns. I know Bo was a little bit triggered by how I phrased the
I was triggered.
quick topic description on the coming up today slate. It simply said unlocking Dillon Gabriel. Now, mind you, we have a certain amount of characters that fit on a graphic. So the question actually is, and Bo, we can start with you. What can the Browns, what can Kevin Stefanski, what can Tommy Rees do to put Dillon Gabriel in a best position to succeed against the New England Patriots?
I mean, there's very little because the coach is not good enough, the talent around him is not good enough, and most importantly, he's not good enough. I think. I'm judging based on 3 games. That's all we got.
But other than that,
yeah.
Should be easy.
Everything's great. Again, there's zero signs through 3 games that he's anything more than a run-of-the-mill, lower-tier starter / top backup at best. That's all the ammunition we have is 3 games, so that's all I can judge by. He doesn't do anything special. I don't know that there's any really good quarterbacks that don't have any special traits. And so it's hard to believe he's going to be any good. But then again, it's just so hard to say because the talent around him is just so poor. It looks like Judy's going to play, which is good. I mean, even though he hasn't been good.
is that good?
I mean, he's still their best receiver.
Yeah, right.
I'm
As
kidding.
bad
I don't
as
think
he's
you're
been.
jumping up and down that he's going to be out there.
I'm just joking.
The rest of their receivers are really not NFL players. I don't think they have another NFL player in their wide receiver room. And it looks like Njoku has a decent chance to come back. And Conklin's going to play probably. So they're as healthy as they can be. Obviously, you want to run the ball like you did last week. But last week you ran the ball a lot because you were winning and because the team you were playing was a joke. This week, the team you're playing is at least solid, if not very good.
And because of the weather, I think they ran it.
Right, it was all of the above. But they mostly ran it in the second half because they were winning.
Yeah.
And so
Work the clock.
It's going to be hard to protect him. He's got to make some plays. You're the quarterback. You got to make some plays. And so far, he hasn't.
Now, I agree with your premise for the most part. What are you going to do? I mean, you're not going to go out and sign new players. The line might be a little healthier. I think that will help.
It will be. I think it'll be better
Yeah.
with Conklin back. That's
I mean,
a big lift.
he is one of the guys that can make a difference.
Yeah.
If it
You're
was
really-
anybody
you're
other
really
than
down to
him,
one hole at left tackle.
which is good. So I do think that helps. But at this point in the game, the groceries are in the pantry. It is what it is. The one thing that I would disagree with you on, Bull, is I wish we were, as a group of fans and analysts, I wish we would hold our powder a little longer on the. And I know I know that we only got 3 games.
Yeah.
But I would say this: did anybody after 3 years think Sam Darnold had any good qualities to him.
Well, Sam was a first-round pick.
Thank you.
I know he was.
I mean,
but
that's-
what makes it even more, it drives my point home even more. He had done something at the collegiate level to make NFL teams believe that he was going to be a tremendous quarterback. And the fact of the matter is, he wasn't. And so I
And
think
he's still not, though, Jay. He's just okay. Like everybody,
but Bull-
all the look at the second chance people were championing Geno Smith. How's he looking now?
No,
he's about to be benched.
I wasn't championing.
Well, a lot of people. Now, the next guy's Sam Darnold. He's been okay. He was
Yes.
good last year, and then he flamed out when it mattered.
Here's the difference,
And he's been
Bull.
okay
He
this
looked
year.
like a total bust, and now he's
He looked like he was unserviceable.
Right.
Like couldn't work in any offense. And now he looks like a serviceable NFL quarterback. So I think to judge, and not just Sam Darnold, or excuse me.
Of course it's too early to judge. Yes,
yeah,
of
and
course.
I get it. I know
Yeah.
we only have 3 games, and
Yeah.
I understand that. But the blanket statements to me, and I know that's what we do, are really rough. I hope that we give Shedeur Sanders the same grace. When he gets in there, I hope after 3 games, we're not blanket state whatever it is for him. On the other hand, we have seen it the other way. They were talking about a number of quarterbacks over the last couple of years, and you can go back 10 years. Go back to RG3. Now, granted, he had an injury, but there are guys that have success and look like they're going to be a perennial Pro Bowl player, and then all of a sudden you're watching them and you're like, what happened? What in the world has happened to this guy? I think what the NFL is more than anything is its ebbs and flows. They get tape on a guy. They figure out how to attack him. He takes a step back. Stroud is the guy, to me, that's the biggest example of that.
Yeah.
But even Jaden Daniels,
Well,
I know
he's
been
been
hurt.
hurt.
I know he's been hurt. But when I had him on my fantasy team last year, so I watched virtually every snap. I don't have him this year, but I've watched him because I like his style of play and I like the player. But I've watched him a number of times this year, and I'm like, what is he doing right there? He has regressed. It's with his decision making. It's with just different things where he doesn't look the same. So I think my point here is, although I generally agree with your statement, like if you're not having success through the air, it's not like the ground is going to save the day. It is what it is. But I do think in terms of just the overall statement that Gabriel isn't it and has no skill set, and he might end up being mid. We don't know that yet, and I just wish everybody would, and not just on him, but on everybody, just kind of give these kids a chance. He's 3 games into his NFL career.
Yeah, I mean, every time I've said that, I qualify by saying it's not fair. I get it. The odds are he's not going to be good because most of the good quarterbacks are first-round picks.
I'll give you that. Will. I will definitely give you that. Odds are he's going to be we've said it all year. Their quarterback of the future isn't on this roster. And that's just playing the odds. So, is a 3rd-round pick going to hit? Not as likely as you're going to get a hit in the 1st round. And they're going to draft a quarterback in the 1st round somewhere next year. So the development of these kids, you're just spinning your wheels because in all likelihood, their playing time is going to come to an end at the end of this year.
But you kind of just contradicted yourself because you just said slow the brakes on the 3rd round, but then you said we're going to skip over the 5th round and then we're going to draft a quarterback.
No, it's logical if it's less likely that a 3rd rounder is going to be the guy than a 1st rounder. It's even more less likely that the 5th rounder is going to be the guy when the 3rd rounder wasn't. I'm not saying that he won't be. What I'm saying is, to Bull's point, you're rolling dice at this point, and you're figuring what the odds are of getting a hit in the 3rd round. Right. And they're not great. Now, you can go through the pantheon of NFL quarterbacks. You're going to find a lot of successful quarterbacks that came not in the 1st round. So 2nd, 3rd, and beyond.
Right, but percentage-wise, a much smaller percentage.
That's it. Yeah. And that's what the NFL draft is. Your likelihood of hitting on a 1st-round pick is whatever it is, 75%. Yeah. In the 2nd round, it's 62%. There's a number on it.
Yeah,
and hit or miss is subjective, too. But in general, you're not going to hit a home run at 3rd round, and it's even less likely you're going to hit one out of the 5th round.
But they could have took a 1st-round quarterback.
They could have, absolutely. They could have.
They didn't feel like that was what they wanted to do, or they felt like that was.
Or that he wasn't there. That he wasn't there. And so far, Cam Ward is, even if they had the number 1 pick, they probably would have taken Cam Ward.
They did have
Where
2.
would we be?
They did have 2. They didn't. Jackson Dart, they could have took him, but they didn't like him.
The jury's out.
Right now, it doesn't look good for Cam Ward. I haven't honestly watched him, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But so far, he's been terrible. Like the Browns, he's in a pretty bad situation too.
I want you to go.
Yeah.
There's a whole case study to be done on quarterbacks going to bad teams, and then coaches get fired, and now there's misalignment, and more times than not, that's how these guys wind up.
And then the quarterback's in a second system in year 2.
Or, I mean, in Baker's case, it was, I don't want to
3 offensive coordinators.
It was 3.
Yeah.
It was Hugh, and then it was Freddie, and then it was Kevin. So he had 3 head coaches in his first, 3-4 years, something like that.
Not fertile breeding ground.
So that is recipe for disaster. And now Cam Ward's going to go through it.
He will.
He's
already going through it.
Just like
I
Daniel
also
Jones went through
don't
it.
put Baker in the same group as Geno Smith and Sam Darnold.
Because he was the number 1 pick?
No, because he had some level of success.
Yeah.
Those guys were complete zeros.
Yeah, there was nothing redeeming about any of those guys.
We've debated for years how much success he had here.
Right.
But he certainly had a level. Nobody would debate.
Yeah, there was reason to think that there's something there. And 4 different teams called his name, essentially.
I think what the thing that we're making the mistake of is we've been told so much how much they like Dillon Gabriel here in their walls. That we've kind of conflated that their like or affinity to him to guys that were first round picks. Like he doesn't have.
That's 1,000% accurate.
Good point.
He doesn't have Baker's arm. He doesn't have Baker's competitive nature. He doesn't. Sam Darnold was a bona fide blue chip 6'4", 5" type dude from USC. Lamar Jackson is electric. Josh Allen was like these guys had visible traits that are sitting there. To me, he does, he's a really good college quarterback, right? But when you talk about physically, he doesn't have those things. So, Bull said it. There's a lot of teams. You got to have one thing if you want to be a starting quarterback. You got to have something that you can do that you can just lean on. If you don't have that to lean on, you got to have pieces and parts in the coaching staff to help you lean on those things. For me, I look at Dillon Gabriel and we just get down to the play. So you take a look at, me and Tyvis broke down the film, we looked at it, and what we found was there are some plays to be had. And there was a route on the backside of a route where there was a dig and then there was a post. And Tyvis paused it. He said, in the college, this right here, this don't look like looks like a situation where this is bagged up. Guys is over this. But in the league, that's open. So I think he's having a trouble with figuring out what's open and what's not open. And this is a comment from Tommy Reese, right? Daniel Afusi says this. He says, Browns offensive coordinator Tommy Reese is trying to unlock the passing game. He says, we just got to trust it. We got to put Dillon in the right spots to see the coverage, trust what he's seeing, let it go. That starts with us coaches. We got to put him in the right positions. We got to put him in the right positions during the week to make sure he's confident in those plays. Throughout training camp, throughout the preseason, he was not trigger shy on that stuff. So he's
hesitant to make those throws now.
So that tells me from the offensive coordinator, he's hesitant to make those throws. And so the offense is stagnant because you got to throw those type plays in order to open other things up. So I think he's a little gun shy. I think the speed of the game, whether you want to say he's a rookie or a supercomputer, it's a different level. So we'll see how he has it or what he goes through, but he's going to have to make himself have some plays available where he's able to let it go and throw it and trust it.
Right. You can't. They in college, especially at Oregon, with all the talent they have, like in most games, his receivers are going to be wide open. Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen in the NFL.
The other thing,
wide open is a different definition.
In the Stefanski offense, like the thing he hates, and every NFL head coach hates it, turnovers. And perhaps it's been drilled into a young player's head so much. Right. The worst thing you can do is throw an interception. Well, that might be the worst thing you can tell a young quarterback. Yeah. Because if he's terrified of throwing an interception and he just watched Joe Flacco throw 5 and get traded, I can see how a young kid would process that as, I'm not throwing the ball unless I'm sure my guy's going to catch it or no one's going to catch it.
I can't imagine Kevin's harder than any other coach about.
No,
I don't think he is.
No, but all head coaches preach that.
What did you say, Mike?
Chicago last year, it was a disaster.
It was.
Eberflus was a disaster. Caleb Williams talked about it when Ben Johnson came. One of the things Ben Johnson told Caleb, and he did I forget who he did the interview with, but worth watching. He said, I was scared to make tight window throws because Matt Eberflus told me a turnover was going to get me benched, essentially. Like, not in those exact words.
Yeah.
And Ben Johnson said, Caleb, you're special. You can make throws that other guys can't make.
Trust yourself.
You have to take some risks to be able to get the reward. Don't be reckless. There's a fine line between reckless
and
risk
1,000%
reward.
correct,
And
Mike.
by the
But
way,
Matt Eberflus had told Caleb, hey, don't turn the ball
That's
over.
dumb.
And it got him fired.
And Matt Eberflus, by the way, terrible coach, got fired.
yeah.
But I do think that happens in
Kevin
the NFL.
Stefanski's not doing that.
But
I
what's-
can't imagine.
No, I don't think he is. But
And I don't think Eberflus actually said, don't throw interceptions, you'll get benched. I think he was preaching so much that we cannot have interceptions that's the way he translated it.
Yeah,
The player
probably.
translated
But
it.
what-
And I can see why a young player would think that way.
The thing that's interesting about that is I did the story on it last year. Ben's the one who, at his introductory press conference, said turnovers used to be the most important stat. It's not anymore. It's quarterback success. It's getting into some of the advanced into the weeds on that. But the only reason, and so it goes back to what Mike was saying. He's the guy who's now married with Caleb Williams to don't worry about interceptions. If you throw a couple, that's okay, which goes back to the conversation I had with Mike Martz. I know we've talked about it before. Mike told me I would much rather have a guy who would try and throw it through an ear hole and risk a pick than a guy who's afraid to turn it over because I can't do anything with that. I can rein a guy in. I can't put a guy out there.
Yeah, no, I
so
agree with
he
that.
liked the more aggressive
And
guys.
look where the Bears are this year, too, by the way.
But to the more important, like back to the Gabriel discussion, he wasn't supposed to play. He's not supposed to be playing right now. The Browns had a plan for quarterback for 24 hours.
That's it.
That's it. They had a plan for 24 hours. Jimmy told you. They drove home from the draft Friday night thinking either Kenny Pickett or Joe Flacco was their starter. Whichever one wasn't the starter was the backup. And Dillon was the third quarterback. You could bring him along slowly. Not probably going to play behind two veterans. And that was going to be their quarterback room.
Yeah.
For 24 hours. And then they took Shador and it threw a grenade in the room. And now Dillon's the starter, Shador's the backup, and Bailey Zappi's in town. And the two veterans are nowhere to be found.
What is it? Everybody has a plan until they get hit in the mouth?
I mean, but the Browns hit themselves in the mouth.
Yeah, it was self-inflicted. They did it to themselves.
And maybe it all works out in the end. Maybe they figure it all out. And maybe it all works out. But I'm just saying.
You don't believe that.
I have to say it.
Yeah.
For my sake.
Don't want to get sued.
Yeah.
Got to put it out there. But think about that. For 24 hours, they had a plan at quarterback.
Yeah.
And then they blew up their own plan. But to the original rundown question, it was really more about the Patriots are stout against the run. And how do you unlock, or what do you do if you can't run the ball? And my answer to that is keep running the ball.
Yeah, keep doing it.
You can't give up on the run too soon, which is what they've done. You can't.
That's been Kevin's issue at times.
It has,
Yeah.
100%. He's given up on the run. We've seen it over the years. Most recently was Pittsburgh, but he's done it 2 years ago as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, if Dillon is dropping back 50 times Sunday in New England, it's a loss.
Guaranteed.
So you have to go 2 tight end sets. Njoku sounds like he's going to be back. That's a good thing. Go to 3 tight ends. Bring Luke Whippler in as the 3rd tight end, as the extra blocker if you have to. Go to 13 personnel.
Yeah.
Whatever you have to do, you have got to keep trying to establish the run. Quinshawn can't leave this game with 11 or 12 carries, or it's going to be a disaster.
Yeah, Leroy punched on that too. Leroy was like, look, it doesn't matter. Yards per carry, it doesn't matter. It matters how many times you run the ball.
I would push back a little. I mean,
I know you
he's
don't
an
like
NFL
that.
running back. I'm not going to tell him. I don't want to sound that way. But I think if you're running first down, second down, third down, and you're facing 3rd and 8, well, guess what? The yards per carry matters.
Well, but he also, and this was funny, but he also gave us a math problem. He said, okay, you're averaging 3 yards a carry. What's 4 times 3?
Yeah, but yes. But are you going to go for it?
You don't get 4 downs.
Are you going to go for it?
Sure you do if you want them.
4th and 1 from your own 28. Are you going to go for that? No.
Or the problem with that math problem is
It's not ideal.
You're not gonna get 4 yards. You're not gonna get 3 yards on every play.
Right. It doesn't
John
work that way.
Jenkins had
No, but the
84
average-
yards and 46 on one.
Right.
Yeah,
So
other 23 carries, he had 36 total.
But
yards.
here's the beauty of that, and this I think was Leroy's point. If you're rolling dice and you only roll them 3 times, don't expect to get your number. But if you keep rolling dice and you keep rolling dice, you increase the opportunity and the odds that you do break that long run, which then skews your average. It's funny because the league is built on analytics now, but really the most basic of equations is the 4 times 3 equation.
But
It really is. I mean, you don't need to average 5 yards a carry.
Here's another equation that defensive coordinators all around the world know. It's a numbers game. I'm going to put more people than you have to block. The quarterback does not block. The running back can't block for himself.
Where the wild dog comes in.
So we're going to snap it to you, but I got 9 dudes up there. And if it's Jerry Jeudy out here, and listen, if you telling me it's Jerry Jeudy on a hobbled knee and it's Quinshon Judkins, I come out in goal line. You be mad at me. That Quinshon Judkins will not get he's good. He ain't Barry Sanders. We going to make him be Walter Payton today.
Right, yeah.
And we going to shut that down.
And that's what Mike, I would assure you that's what Mike Vrabel is going to do.
If Jerry Jeudy want to cook or Jamari Thrash and he come out with a career day, you shake his hand and say, Jamari Thrash just wrecked us today.
Yeah. And you'll still have your best corner on Jeudy, I guess, but depending on how they play.
Doing that. They're going to have to
Gonzalez is a damn good corner.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Like, he is a very good cornerback. The other side of the field will be more open, but Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, but the Browns unfortunately don't have any receivers. So outside of Jeudy, so
he speaks the truth.
I mean, that's it. The rest of the receiving core stinks. I actually argued at the beginning of the season that maybe the Browns wouldn't have the worst wide receiving core, but they do.
Oh yeah.
I thought Jerry Jeudy would be a lot better.
You've also changed around because Jeudy. We were talking, is Jeudy a wide receiver 1? And I'm like, no, he's terrible.
Well, coming into the year, he was.
Yeah, but this was even like week 3. I'm like,
because listen, I still think he's a decent receiver in the right set of circumstances. Decent. But obviously, these are not the right set of circumstances. He's having a terrible year.
Yeah,
he's been terrible.
It's really
and that's why
bad.
he never belonged in the All-Pro conversation.
Wasn't Tez Johnson a free agent or something? Didn't he not even get drafted?
5th round. I'll look it up. I think it's a 5th.
No,
pick.
he was out of Oregon, right? Is that the guy from Oregon?
Yeah, it's got Tyvis.
Yeah.
How?
It's a lot easier when you're the 4th or 5th option and you have a good quarterback.
Yeah, but now Tez Johnson's like the 2nd option.
He was a what?
7th rounder.
Now they went to see Dillon Gabriel how many times? They didn't see Tez Johnson even throwing to him?
And Tyvis, who knows something about wide receiver play, said he was the guy they most wanted to see the Browns draft.
Can I give one pushback on Tez real quick?
Yeah.
And it's worked out. He weighed at the combine, according to NFL.com, at 158.3 pounds.
Okay.
There has to be some.
He's had one game, right? I mean, what's his?
No, he's had touchdowns in 2 straight games, I believe. I could be wrong on
what
that.
are his stats the last 2 weeks, Mike?
It is loading 1 second.
Anything you
Tez
get
Johnson
one
on
was
the
a deep
season
ball.
has 10 catches, 170 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
So let's not get carried away.
That's more than our wide receiver 1 has.
Well, what does Jerry Jeudy got?
Jerry Jeudy is the number 1 guy. Tez Johnson has been the number 4, 5. Now he's the number 3, I guess.
If
2,
your
maybe.
6 got more touches than your number 1,
they're a better team.
Nasty
Yeah.
work.
It's not an apples to apples comparison.
Labels can be confusing.
By the way,
You don't think Jerry Jeudy, as bad as he's been, don't you think he'd be playing better if he were on the Buccaneers?
probably.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
He
Probably
can't
not.
be playing worse for
He
what it's
can't-
worth.
What's that?
Literally
Can't be playing worse.
But by the way, McNuggets,
Yes, you can. Look at every other wide receiver on the Browns.
if they drafted Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round, the Browns are
That's
not.
our bar.
They don't have a size ranking. Like size doesn't matter to the Cleveland Browns. They bring
Fair.
in who they bring in.
What did Gerald McNeil weigh? The Ice Cube. He was
Even,
about $160.
Even
155.
Sterling Shepard's been decent for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Like
he
whoever
has.
they put in there contributes.
It helps when you got a good quarterback, right, Jay?
Hey, listen, you took the words right out of my mouth, McNuggets.
Look at his face. You
And a
lit
good
up.
offensive line.
Look at your face.
Got to see if
Now,
Baker.
I'm done with the victory.
We got to see if Baker
We all
has
know
that
what it
twinkle.
is. We know what
We
it
got to
is.
see if Baker
I
gets
do
out of his slump,
do love this though. This is funny because Bull's rooting for him now, allegedly.
Right, and then he.
But what was funny was when they got boat raced really by Detroit. It wasn't a good night at all.
Right.
And I know he's down all of his wide receivers, but Bull
came
in
back,
the chat,
he put just-
Baker regrets.
Hey, he kicked in the door to chat.
That was. You know what's funny?
Baker's
though?
trash again.
I do a show. I do a podcast with Brandon Stokely, 2-time Super Bowl champion Brandon Stokely, and we recorded on Thursday nights, and we pick games, right?
Sure.
So last night I told him one of my picks, my best bet or my second best bet was taking the Buccaneers, and I said Baker hasn't played consecutive bad games since going to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
As much as that pains me to admit.
I'll tell you, though,
but he did play lousy last week. And
What did Brandon pick? Detroit?
No, he didn't pick that game.
They
to
play
me-
the Saints this weekend.
I see.
Saints,
This weekend.
Saints,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, this weekend.
Now, my
right.
best bet this week, and maybe I'm biased, although I crap on my team as much as any. The Bengals are less than a touchdown favorite against the Jets.
I see that.
Wow, is that in New York? Is that why?
No, in
No, it's in
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Wow.
I know that's
Tyrod
stealing.
Taylor.
That's stealing.
Yeah. And
Gee,
even
Christmas.
Tyrod Taylor's not 100% healthy. Plus, no, I don't think Garrett Wilson's playing, and I don't think what's his name, their best corner, Sauce Gardner. I don't think he's playing either.
It's so bad.
Tough
I
matchup
picked
against
up the
Jamar Chase.
Bengals defense.
I know, and their defense stinks.
They're horrible.
But, yeah,
but
against
against
the
the
Jets,
Jets,
I mean,
and just the fact that we lived this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Flacco now has his mojo going.
Oh, yeah,
And,
for a couple of weeks he'll probably be good.
Yeah, who knows what happens
Yeah,
after
yeah.
4 or 5 games, but he's in that zone right now. He had a great soundbite in this week's
About eating
media
by himself?
about eating by himself.
Yeah,
If you
that's
didn't
awesome.
see it, he said he used to see guys eating in bars or restaurants by themselves and feel very sorry for them. But now that he's by himself and doing that a lot because his family is back in New Jersey, he said, I now realize those people were actually in heaven.
Yeah. Well,
and that made me laugh.
Great quote.
Well,
That was a
what's
great quote.
funny is later in the week, they asked Jamar Chase, they were like, do you like eating by yourself? And Jamar Chase was like, are you crazy? I don't eat by myself ever. In a restaurant.
Yeah.
Right.
It was pretty, shows the difference in age,
No,
right?
that is exactly
I love
right.
eating by myself.
Yeah, when you're 20, it's the worst thing in the
It's
world.
uncomfortable.
It basically
I go
might
to
as
the
well
movies by myself sometimes.
Wear a shirt that says, I have no friends. That's basically what you're doing. But when you get older
Yeah.
and quiet alone time is very rare, hell yeah, eating
nice.
a meal by yourself can be one of the greatest things ever.
I went to the movies by myself. a
Y'all
couple
allowed
weeks ago.
doing that?
What do you mean?
You allowed doing that?
What do you mean? Like for my wife?
Man, you
She don't
crazy.
mind.
You better listen, there's no way G. Bush is allowed. Listen, if I got to go to the gas station at 10 o'clock, she like, where we going?
Really?
Let me get my bag together. No. What we doing?
Where are we going?
Where we
What
going?
have you done that you haven't
do you think
yet
you're going?
won her trust?
Hey, listen,
For
once
7 minutes.
Yeah.
Going to get gas.
ain't no such a thing as winning no trust with no Filipino woman.
Okay.
Oh, we together forever.
By the way, why are you going for gas at 10 o'clock
She's
at
in
night?
the car right now in the parking lot.
She waiting right now.
Yeah.
Text her, talk about it. Let me know when you're done. I'll be waiting.
Didn't get you in any other trouble. Let me
Rose
read it.
Bush, got an eye on
For,
you, boy.
Next
problem,
topic,
son.
guys. We'll
No
keep
problem.
things moving with Mazda. Mazda, for
Where we
those
go
who
later
believe
today.
it's more than just playing the game. It's about keeping the game moving forward. Mazda, a proud sponsor of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Head over to Mazda.com. Check out all their vehicles. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, guys, the Browns are heading on the road, and unfortunately, we were having a similar conversation this year to a conversation we had back in 2023. The Browns' defense in the 23 season was much better at home than it was on the road. Smaller sample size here, but even through just 7 games, the splits are pretty noticeable. In their 4 home games, and they've played 4 home games versus 3 road games, the game in Minnesota does technically count as a home game, the Browns are only allowing an average of 9 points per game. They're allowing 234.8 yards per game. They have 16 sacks, and the quarterback rating against them is a mere 80.2. In their 3 road games, they're allowing 32.6 points per game. The yards per game still good, sub 300, but compared to 16 sacks in 4 home games, they only have 3 sacks in 4 road games and opposing quarterbacks.
No, 4 sacks in 3 home road games.
Correct, sorry. And then a 112.9 quarterback rating against. They're heading into New England. They're going to Foxborough. So, G, what's it going to take for this Browns defense to put together a solid performance on the road for, frankly, the first time this season?
Man, look, man, I hate talking about complimentary football, but they have to sustain some sort of drives. If the Browns' offense is going to punt, at least give me a couple of first downs, then punt, right? Now, if you're not going to get no points, if you're not going to score no touchdowns, long sustained drives and field goals, right? Because at least it gives you the team the opportunity on defense to kind of rally around and make some plays. Because the reason why the Patriots is, you don't never like playing teams like the Patriots, right? Because if you're a defensive lineman or you're on defense in general, there is no specific thing you're looking at like, oh, you're gonna air it out on us. Not really. They might kill us on the ground. Not really. You don't know who's going to get the majority of the touches or the catches. You don't even know if what tight end is going to catch the ball. Everything is like playing trail mix. It's pecans, it's sesame sticks, it's M&Ms, peanuts, cashews, and you get a handful of raisins, and you don't know what you're going to get in your hand. That is the ridiculous part about playing teams like the Patriots, because you just don't know. So you're going to go into that game, and you just got to play it kind of like at arm's length distance. It's gonna be a fill-out game that first quarter because think about it the way they came out against the Dolphins. Dolphins is a bad team. There's like Tua, it's raining. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna switch tendencies up on you. We're gonna make sure that we bring some guys from different places. They did a lot of blitzing and they confused them. But in this game, you don't know what they're gonna run. So you got to come out playing a lot of your base stuff. Just get off blocks, let's make some tackles.
Right.
So for the defense, they're gonna have to play the feel-out game, not give up any explosive plays. But the thing about the Patriots is they're not gonna be gun-ho to go downfield like that. They're gonna play it methodically and play the same thing. So they need complementary football, and they cannot be giving short fields, and they got to sustain some drives, even if they end in punts.
What do we think is the reason there's such a dramatic difference? Is it coincidence?
Well, G hit on it at the end. The Browns' offense is putting the defense in untenable spots on the road. I'm just off the top of my head, Baltimore and Detroit. Detroit scored 24 points by gaining 41 yards.
Yeah.
Right.
And Baltimore was the same thing. Like
Yeah.
Baltimore's playing on a short field all along. So I don't even know. We talked about the disparity a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. This year, those are the two games that I think have skewed the point. Because the yards, 50 yards, that's not that dramatic.
Especially considering that the two quarterbacks you mentioned, obviously Lamar is great and Jared Goff's been really good.
But Mike, can you throw the stat board back up that you had with look, the sacks, that's significant, obviously.
But I think part of that is because when you're getting blown out, you can't pin your ears back and go after the quarterback.
Right, but if you just look at the opposing yards, 50 yards isn't really that dramatic. I don't think over an entire game.
They're both significantly below league average for what it's worth.
But it's just the fact that the offense has put them in horrible conditions. And what am I missing? Minnesota would count as a home game.
Yeah.
Right.
But Detroit, Pittsburgh, same thing.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh,
it was
right?
Detroit, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore.
Pittsburgh really didn't do that in the whole game. If you look back at it, you're like, how did they?
But Detroit and Baltimore specifically, the defense was on short fields the entire day.
I think this is just a coincidence who they played. Like, I don't think there's something to it this year. I think if anything, it's about the offenses.
Yeah.
The offense has been terrible on the road, and that's led to the defense, giving up points when it wasn't really their fault.
And think about it. Young players traditionally play bad on the road, especially quarterbacks. Think about the game in Denver with DTR. Think about some of the other games where they go to Pittsburgh and play. Like, these are younger quarterbacks that are playing on the road in hostile environments, and they're giving, turnovers, sacks.
But two of the three losses were with Flacco.
Yes.
2 of the 3 road losses were with
But
Flacco.
you could put this on when I talk about sustaining drives, Jay, if you got offensive lines that are getting 1st and 10 holding penalties, you're done. You might as well punt. That's 1st and 20.
I've joked about that for years.
That's 1st and 20. You back 20. Now the field just flipped because when you punt,
if they get a holding call, just punt before it gets worse.
On 1st and 20.
Yeah,
Just kick.
It's over. The drive's over. It's done.
Do the shock punt.
I've never
Just have the quarterback with the quick one.
I don't know that I've ever seen an offense that can't overcome penalties like this one.
Well, they can't get first downs when they stay on schedule. When you put them behind the sticks and they're off schedule, it is a wrap.
Yeah.
And the best offense for Baltimore and Detroit and perhaps for New England this Sunday has been the Browns' awful offense. That's it. If advantage of their mistakes.
where I guess what good quarterbacks do and how they manage it is like, okay, I don't know if they're young. I don't know if young players are good enough to do this, but if it's 1st and 20, and you're looking at it, you're like, as a young quarterback, do you have the cognizant nature of saying, okay, they're gonna call this play, I need to get 7 of this back right here.
Yeah, you need 3 straight 7-yard plays.
Let me get 7 of it.
I don't have confidence they can ever do that.
Let me figure out.
They call it that way.
Right.
If it's 1st and 20, a lot of times they're calling a play that'll get them 6.
Sure, you don't
7, but they don't always execute it.
No, and you got to do it 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
And here's what the defense is saying: take your shot.
Yeah, like,
I don't think you got it in you.
because they're baiting you to try to get it all back at once.
Well, here's what they're really relying on. They're relying on you don't get 7 on first down. Maybe you get 2. Now it's 2nd and 18. Then instead of getting 7 on 2nd down to make it 3rd and 12 or 11, you get 3 more. Now they've got you exactly where they want you because now it's 3rd and 15. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to blitz and you might make a mistake and throw it to the wrong color.
Yeah, it's just it's one of them things where offensive line, young quarterback, it is imperative. I don't even have a problem if you are nice drive, we get first down, 3 first downs, and it stalls. Punt. If you get 3 first downs and it stalls, okay. Let's try to pin them and let's get the D back on the field.
I mean, Urban Meyer, before the Texas game, we had this brief conversation about this with Tyvis and I were talking about this. Urban, I heard him say it was Julian Saint's first start, and he said, "Just get us 2 first downs, we'll win the game. 2 first downs every drive, we'll win the game." Because eventually it's it's death by paper cuts.
Yeah,
you're flipping the field on.
Yep.
And when you got that defense,
and you're relying on your defense.
10 more yards, 10 more yards here, negative, and then now you're in field goal range and you can put some points up and they can't.
Jim Tressel made a career of doing that.
I covered Tressel for 10 years of punt and play defense. Eventually you're going to start at the 50, 45, 50-yard line. We're going to kick a field goal, and then we're going to start all over again. Punt and play defense, play defense. But I had never heard it put the way Urban put it of just give me 2 first downs.
Right.
2 first downs every drive, we're going to win the game.
Because 2 first downs, I don't know, McNuggets, like in the scheme of things, you got I think you got the Inspector Gadget Penny MacBook Pro back there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if you start at the 20 and you get 2 first downs, you're
how much time is taken off the clock with 2 first downs?
By the way,
3-4 minutes, depending on if you're running it or passing.
If they use the majority of the play clock.
Oh.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Get that L in there.
Yeah.
If they use the majority of the play clock, it's 40 seconds. So use about 35 seconds. So 35 times 3 is, 100 seconds, a minute and a half. You get 2 first downs. You're at least burning 4 minutes of game clock.
See, you burn 4 minutes,
and you're giving them a long field.
And guys,
flip it back. You got some stuff you could work with.
I was looking this up. That's why I was on my phone for the last couple of minutes here, because I wanted to see if I could find 3rd and long conversion rates.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't find it for this year for whatever reason on my phone. But last year, the Browns were 31st out of 32 teams on 3rd and long conversion.
Not all surprising.
And by the way, there were only 2 teams in the NFL. I'm sorry, 3 teams in the NFL last year that were less than 20% conversion
on 3rd and long. What is 3rd and long? 3rd and 7 at least?
Yes.
Okay. 7
or more. And there were some teams like
What was the Browns conversion?
The Browns conversion rate, it's a chart, doesn't give you the exact. It looks like 12%.
Wow.
Only the Saints were lower. The Cowboys, Browns, and Saints were the only ones below 20. Broncos and Cardinals were right at 20. And then you have teams like the Buccaneers and Lions were almost 35% conversion.
Wow.
I could probably get this year on True Media, but
the Bills, the Bengals, the Chiefs,
That's a telling
the Eagles,
stat.
the
It
Ravens,
really is.
the Niners, the Bills are all around. We're all around 30%.
It's almost a predictor of success
because
those are the top teams in the league, and Dallas wasn't one of the bottom teams in the league last year, but certainly the Browns, and I think you said New Orleans was the other one.
The only anomaly, if you look at the bottom 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 teams. There are 11 teams like 23% or lower. I think the only one that made the playoffs was Denver.
If you go look at just the games this year,
They barely got in.
Watch the Minnesota game. You almost, because those teams the percentage is higher because they have a person that's why they call it a 50-50 ball. They have a person that it's like going to the blackjack table. They're like, hey, I got a 50-50 dude over here.
Yeah, well,
I can throw, if it's 3rd and 7, I can throw the ball up to him, and 3 things can happen.
They didn't do much of that yesterday.
Either he gets either you get an illegal contact, either you get a pass interference spot foul, or he comes down with it, or he doesn't come down with it. There's 3 out of 4 things with a guy that you're going to get. That's a 75% chance.
We don't have that guy.
Yeah.
And you don't have that.
You got to have, the teams, if you look at it, I guarantee for the most part there'll be a couple of exceptions. The teams with a good quarterback and an elite wide receiver are probably near the top.
Yep.
The second group probably has one or the other.
Right.
And then the bottom they probably don't have either.
Yeah.
So
right, and the Browns don't have either.
No,
let me ask you a blanket question real quick, then we'll move on, talk little Cavs. 3rd and long. Who is the Browns' number one, who is Kevin Stefanski drawing a play up for on 3rd and long?
Njoku or Fannin?
if
I think it's Judy, but
if you look at
It's just not reliable.
their best option for picking up 3rd and 7s is a dump off to either Judkins or Fanning, and hoping they
Metcalf
break the
up the
tackle.
middle.
Yeah.
Because they're very difficult to tackle in open
That's
field.
pretty
right,
telling,
but you're much less likely to get a first out of that situation
Yes.
if you don't throw the ball 7 yards.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. Kansas City, obviously, with Kelsey, when you've got a guy like that, 3rd and 7 doesn't seem very daunting.
When you
you've
have a
got
good quarterback-
great quarterback, and it's
When
not.
you have a good quarterback, when Joe Burrow's playing for the Bengals and they have 3rd and long,
You
I
feel good
always
about it.
assume they're going to get a first down.
Yeah, you feel good
They
about it.
don't, but
And when you're playing defense, you always think they're going to get it.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
You do.
Even
Makes
when you
sense.
stop everything.
The Browns on 3rd and 3, I don't think they're going to.
No.
Oh, 3rd and 4, I get it. It's shaky. 3rd and
Browns
4,
3rd and 7 feels like another team's 3rd and 20.
Jorquez is grabbing his helmet on 3rd and
Yeah.
3 every time. I guarantee it.
So sad.
It's nuts. We're going to talk more Browns in the WKYC portion of today's show starting at 12:30. Diving into the coaching matchup, a great Coach Tyvis breakdown, and our pre-written headlines. So make sure y'all tune into WKYC or download WKYC Plus app starting at 12:30. We're going to talk a little cast after a quick word from FanDuel. Guys, FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook, and right now FanDuel has an incredible offer for new customers. New customers can download the FanDuel Sportsbook, use promo code UCSS, bet $5, and if that $5 bet wins, you win $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So what are you waiting for? Get in on the action. Download FanDuel right now and become part of America's #1 sportsbook family. All right, guys, the Cavs lost their season opener to the New York Knicks. They are in Brooklyn to take on the terrible Nets tonight. It should be their
Are you
first.
sure they're terrible?
season.
Do
We don't know
that for
yet.
sure?
Yeah, trust me, I read way too much content on the Nets. They are objectively horrific.
Is that your team?
Yeah,
It is, right?
I grew up rooting for the Nets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they're,
thought
they're
so.
just absolute dog fire this year. Their over/under for
Dog
Vegas was
fire?
19.5. I hammered the under. Just full disclosure.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're not winning 19 games. They have the first. They're a disaster. The Cavs
Right.
should win.
Okay.
Jared Allen was terrible
right game
in the
for the
opener.
Cavs, then.
And Chris Fedor put out an article this morning talking about how Kenny Atkinson lit him up in front of the team in their
Good.
film session following the game, which I thought was pretty interesting. He was open about it, talked about the fact
Let's go.
that they need more from Jared Allen. Jared Allen knows he needs to perform better than he did in that season opening loss to the Knicks. And the fact that they called it out in film, you can see his stat line on the screen, simply not good enough in 28 minutes of play. So that happened. Jason, I want to ask you first, other than getting a little more production from Jared Allen, is there anything you're particularly looking for in tonight's game against Brooklyn? Some mini adjustments to get Cleveland onto the winning track tonight?
No, it's game 2 of 82. And they're without 3 of their top guys.
The thing they're most focused on is where they're partying over the weekend, right?
They've been in New York for a few days now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're
So-
flying back to Cleveland tonight. So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know what I meant. The last couple of days.
Yeah, trust me, it don't have to be the weekend.
That's
for
right, yeah.
NBA players to cut
Especially
loose
in New York.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I mean, listen, it's early. It's early season. Mike and I were texting a little bit during the first half of the Knicks. We were both happy to. I don't care if they go in or not. I want Evan Mobley to do that. I want Mobley to be aggressive, attack, play. Oh, was that Donovan? I thought that was Evan.
He's got to do it for the whole game, though, Jason.
The first play was Evan. The next
Yeah,
one was Donovan. Evan's coming in again. It's a whole montage of the
Okay.
The
game.
aggressiveness was awesome, but he wasn't as consistent with his aggressiveness in the second half.
Well, and also they have to keep feeding them.
yes.
And they got away from that in the playoffs quite a bit. And
Yeah.
it's on Evan. Like, it shouldn't be this hard. And that's the only thing, because Mike and I have advocated for Evan more than anybody on this show for years. But it also shouldn't be this hard to get the ball into one of your best players' hands. And it feels like we're constantly talking about getting Evan comfortable. How do you get Evan comfortable? How does he attack? And you can't forget. Do you forget Kevin Durant's on the floor?
No.
Never.
Do you forget that LeBron's on the floor? And I'm
Never.
not trying to put Evan in that category. of
Wemby?
player. But, like, he is the second best player on this team right now. And by the end of the season, he better be the best player on this team. And so it shouldn't be that hard to make that guy the focal point. So, listen, I'm not going to sit here and say they need to make this adjustment or that adjustment from game 1 to game 2 of an 82-game season when they're without 3 of their rotation players. Like, now is the time to just get creative and have fun and see what works and see what doesn't. Try different combinations. But I just want to see Evan really become the focal point, really attack, play make, facilitate for others, run it at both ends of the floor. I thought he was, what I saw of the game against the Knicks, he was very good defensively. And that's what you need to see out of him. So I don't care if they go in or not right now. That doesn't matter because they'll eventually go in with Evan. I just want to see him get into the attack mode of attacking the basket, stepping into three-point shots, and taking them with confidence.
We mentioned yesterday, he took some threes like that he never took last year.
Great.
In that
I
first
thought
game.
he did too.
Right, like where he was just like
Even
catching
late
it.
when it was a close game.
Yeah.
But
just
put
the
the three
fact
up
that he was
immediately.
like, he was kind of in motion, caught it, and then went right up. Like,
Yeah.
he never took three-pointers like that last year.
Here's what.
It was a promising game, I thought, for him.
Hey, here's what I'm gonna do. Hey, Evan, 18 is cool. That ain't enough. I need you to be 24, 25 shots a game. 24, 25.
Right.
At least if he 24, 25, you could taper it down when Darius Garland
At
come out.
whose expense, though?
Well, I think they got away from him when Donovan just caught fire in the third
Who's
quarter.
expense?
Yeah.
And then,
Doesn't matter.
And they needed
at
him.
the end
They
of the
needed
third
him.
quarter,
Ain't no expenses.
I don't know,
See,
25's a little high.
No, I like 25.
25 is very high.
I like 25.
And by the way, I mean, I know you said that this is important, that he better be their best player at the end of the year. Evan Mobley will not be the Cavs' best player at the end
Then
of
they
this
won't
year.
win a championship.
Then that's fine. They probably won't. I don't have him picked to win a championship. But that's asking a lot.
I am not deferring.
He'd have to make as big a jump this year, maybe even bigger than the one he made last year.
bigger.
I don't think that's unreasonable.
It's not unreasonable.
I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I want to make.
It's not unreasonable to.
I don't believe they will win a championship with Donovan Mitchell as their best player, and that's not a knock against.
Yeah.
It sounds like I'm ripping Don. I'm not.
I know. I know.
I mean, this guy carries such a heavy load. He can't help the size that he is. The Cavs has come up now 2 postseasons in a row because of the heavy usage, because of the heavy minutes, and trying to do everything. That's
Right.
not a recipe for success.
Like, why did they
for
bring
this
him
team
back in the
postseason.
game after he got hurt?
He wasn't hurt.
I mean, he looked like he was hurt. He was
He
limping.
got the wind knocked out of him. He was.
Oh, that's all
He
it
all
was?
good. Yeah.
And why was he limping?
I mean, he got hit in the face and the mouth.
You know how NBA guys are.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you like this: it's all about the mentality. The same way we talked about Jared Allen, he got ripped in front of the team then, right? You're trying to set this up not for today, but for what you need him to be tomorrow. So you got to get into the habit. Last year they had habits and it was cool and it was easy. This year I'm glad he go out there and get smoked a little bit. Go out there and get beat up a little bit because I want you to drill that in your head. This is what we need for you to do. 25 shots seems like a lot, but 25 shots sets a mentality of aggressive. And then when you get into the playoffs, you still have the mindset aggressive, and I've been doing it all year. And I'm not turning nothing on. So right now, Darius Garland is your second or third leading scorer. DeAndre Hunter is out. I don't care if Lonzo Ball get no shots, Sam Merrill get no shots. I don't care if Jared Allen get no touches besides putbacks. Evan Mobley need to get this ball and work on his game during the season. And that's how you become 100%. A guy against Oklahoma City, because you can't just turn that on against Oklahoma City or the Knicks in the finals. No, you need to be working on that right now.
The Jarrett conversation, this is year 9.
I mean,
I know.
It's over.
He is who he
Yep,
is.
that's it.
And it's not that he's a bad player. He's not a bad player.
They just need him to be more.
But in every postseason now, he's vanished. And some of it is out of his control with some injuries, and some of it's within his control. But, I mean, if you're expecting Jared Allen to turn into this vocal monster,
No chance.
He is who he is.
Yeah.
This is his 9th year.
Evan was more vocal in this game than I remembered him being ever last year.
They're putting a lot on him.
Yeah, they
and
should.
They've for 2 off seasons now. They've really sort of turned up the responsibility. I mean, he's a max player. He's making $45 million a year.
Yeah, be a max player.
It's time.
Lonzo Ball, by the way, we talked about this a little yesterday, but he just brings a dimension that this team hasn't had in a long time.
He could, if he's healthy and upright, he's got to be upright April, May, and June.
Yeah.
He could be.
His passing ability, they haven't had a player like that in a while.
And his pace, the pace, the way he pushes. If you're a big man and you running, if Lonzo Ball got the rock, you got to run that floor hard because you can get it.
Yeah.
Anybody, Sam Merrill, need to be running to that 3-point line because he can get it. I will say this though, Jason, if Jared Allen is not out here doing nothing, he's clogging the space up for me then. If he's not going to be out there rim running, playing defense and blocking shots and bringing energy, he's redundant. I could just put Evan Mobley out there at the 5 and keep pushing.
We've talked about that for years. Anytime I have conversations with other teams, it's always Evan at the 5 is how they view the Cavs' best lineup is Evan at the 5 and 4 shooters around him. The Cavs like the defensive presence and tenacity of having the two big guys together. There is something to be said for that. There is merit to that. But, I think their best lineup is Evan at the 5. It just, especially against good teams in crucial moments, that's what it is. But the Lonzo thing, Mike, I haven't not studied Lonzo's career, but I think this is probably the first time in his career that he hasn't been looked at as one of a guy. I mean, I know he's had a ton of injuries, but he's just a face in Cleveland. He's not expected to fill a major role. They're not counting on him to be a franchise leader on this team.
Play the role they need.
Yeah.
But it is an important role come postseason time.
Absolutely.
Not leader, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think what Jay's saying is everywhere else, they're like, okay, what do you got?
Yeah.
We don't need him to be
He doesn't have to be Lonzo Ball anymore.
No.
He's one of the guys.
Just come in and run the second unit.
Play
man.
the role that they need
I
to
like
play.
him. I like the idea of him and Mobley on the court without Donovan, in the minutes that Donovan's out.
Yeah.
With 3 other shooters, one other big guy.
Well, when
but
Hunter's in Bull, he's the 4 with that group.
Right.
And that, to me, we talked about the closing lineups, the spacing. Hunter being at the 4 with Mobley at the 5 gives you so much flexibility on both ends of the court.
Right.
And I think that's their heart, regardless of who the 3 guys in the backcourt are. The Cavs are at their hardest to guard, in my opinion, when Mobley's at the 5 and Hunter's at the 4. Jason, I had a question for you, though, real quick. We actually haven't talked about this. I should have texted you about this beforehand. But Jared Allen is the recipient of a lot of pick and roll plays. Like, he's probably the Cavs' best pick and roll player. Lonzo doesn't run a ton of pick and rolls, by the way. In his entire career, it's just not kind of his offensive style because he's not much of an offensive creator, and teams just go under, force him to shoot. Not what he runs. Last season, Allen had 138 assists from Darius Garland, by far the most of anyone on the team. Max Strus was number 2 in assists to Jared Allen with 47. So with those two out, that's 175 of his 300 made baskets just out of the equation.
Damn.
Which offensive production is going to kind of be hindered like that. My issue with Jared, it just feels like kind of the effort and the intensity, Jason, isn't there on a night-to-night basis in a game against New York, against the Knicks, in that arena, opening night of the season. You just need more from him. So I don't want to say I understand the lack of offensive production. You still need more than 4 points. That's not acceptable at all. But what do the Cavs have to do to get a more consistent version of Jared Allen, especially on the glass? 4 rebounds for a 28-minute set.
Yeah, that's way more important than the point.
Just unacceptable.
I would put it back on Jared. Again, he's going his 9th year. This isn't on the Cavs to try and make Jared Allen more comfortable. This is on Jared Allen to be the type of player he's capable of being.
But can you become a dog in year 9?
No, of course not.
I don't see it happening.
No, but they're never going to run plays. Like, you're not going to run an ATO for Jared.
No.
His points are going to come, like Mike was talking about, off pick and rolls. But if those guys aren't out there, his points are going to come off rebounds and putbacks, doing dirty work around the glass. And that's just who, like, that was a couple years ago. That's why I said the beauty of Jared Allen is he's going to get you 12 and 10 without ever having to run a play for him. And that's still true. Now, if his pick and roll guys aren't out there, he may get a little bit of dip, and that's okay. I'd rather Evan Mobley taking those shots than Jared Allen anyway.
Right. But if he's getting 4 rebounds in 28 minutes, he's useless.
And that's on him.
Yeah, right. 100%. There's the Cavs.
There's nothing for the Cavs. There's nothing for Kenny to do to scheme something up for him or anything like that.
You know what you
that's
can
on
do?
Him.
Here's how this works. Hey, you just got your minutes cut in half. So you're going to sit here and then you're going to feel what it is to be on the bench and not be there in crunch time and be like, wow, Jared Allen's not in the game. See, this is how, listen, DeAndre Jordan, same thing happened to him. A lot of these dudes that's energy guys, rim runners, garbage dudes, Kenneth Faried, if you can't be out there, if you're a guy that's supposed to be energy, but you ain't having energy, I only got 12 minutes for you, dog.
But also, and like everybody's crapping on, and myself included, crapping on Jared right now, a lot of this is overblown because it was the first game, so everyone's paying more attention to it. He'll be fine. Like, he's going to put up the numbers that he puts up. It's the postseason that is what you're most concerned about.
Is there a trade? Like, I know it's one game. There's no trade for him?
No.
Why? Mike, let me ask you this.
They're a second apron team.
Mike, I think and I know the question was what should you look to be different tonight? It's not a really, we're not going to learn much because the Nets are so bad and the Knicks are one of the top teams. So they're going to come out tonight, they're going to look like world beaters and everybody, my concern was the rebounding. I don't know what the final tally was, but to me it felt like we were out rebounded by at least double digits.
It was.
And that was shocking to me because this is a good rebounding team and the Knicks had some pieces out that what you would have thought that we would have dominated the boards, and we didn't.
Yeah,
we were dominated on the
Knicks
boards.
won the rebounding battle by 16.
Wow.
A lot of them, not all, but a good number were long rebounds. Long
Okay,
rebounds
and
fall
those
to
happen.
guards.
But that's
And that
hustle.
falls
But
to
the
guards.
effort part of rebounding, because rebounding
Yeah.
is effort.
But
I
there
just
were-
thought they got out-efforted underneath.
100%.
And that's what
100%.
surprised me. I'm fascinated. I'm going to watch the Knicks closely this year just to see the differences from Brown from Tibbs. Like, okay, I know I expect the defense to be better, but are they going to be that good rebounding the basketball all year?
Mike's a really
they-
good coach.
They were
It's a
without-
great coach.
They were
I
without
love 'em.
probably their two best rebounders too, by the way.
I know they were.
Josh
That's why I
Hart,
said
Mitchell
Robinson and Hart.
Yeah.
So for them to out-rebound, I didn't know it was that dramatic. I would have guessed they had at least 10 rebounds more than
it
we
was
did.
48 to 32.
Jay,
Well,
Okay,
Cat-
that is stunning
Cat
to
and
me.
who was their other big guy?
Cat and then Porty.
and
I think they
OG Anunoby had like 12, 13
it was Cat
rebounds.
and Anunoby. I think only had 4 less rebounds than the entire Cavs roster.
That can't happen.
But Jay,
Close ball.
Was
Those
that
two
more,
combined had 25.
Mike? Was that more Knicks' effort or just lack of our effort?
I mean, combo. Like I said, they had a bunch of long. They shot a ton of threes. They missed a lot of threes.
Yep,
Long
and those
rebounds.
kick, I
falls
get
on the
it.
guards, by the way.
Yep.
That is on the guards.
Yep.
And
In
there were
the-
some plays though where you
Yeah.
could go back and watch, and I could point out certain possessions.
I
if you wanna
know.
See where the effort from Jared.
The ball should have been
from
ours,
Evan,
and it wasn't.
And yeah, and they let the Knicks kind of get fingertips on it.
Do you
tip it
think
out.
that'll be a point of emphasis?
Yes.
Okay,
I mean,
good.
in the
I
end,
hope
it's
so.
one game. We don't want to.
hold on. Here's where I will say this. In a season where the Cleveland Cavaliers have been hoisted to the top of the mountain because of the Celtics injuries, because of the Pacers injuries, and they said they're the prohibitive favorite, we're not going to forget that this is the same team that got bullied by these Knicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one game.
And then last year they were 4-0 against the Knicks.
Yeah, it's one game, but this is the measuring rod, the Knicks.
Yeah,
so
Yeah, I
it
hear
is.
you, but-
You're right about
So,
that.
it's one game.
We'll
now
forget
let's see
about
what
this
happens
game in
when
a
the
couple
Knicks come to
weeks.
Cleveland. I'm curious.
But
to
I'm
see.
glad Kenny laid down the law. I like that.
Yeah, we need that.
All right, guys, let's get to our last topic of the YouTube show. Then we're heading over to WKYC for 30 minutes of never-before-seen content. A quick reminder that Sunday, when the Browns wrap up, Earl, and myself will be doing our weekly post-game show. Last week, we set a new record for views. We appreciate everyone for tuning into those.
Crazy. That's
We've done a new record in October, so shout out to everyone who watches on a daily basis. UCSS continues to grow bigger and bigger and bigger by the week. You guys are a major part of that, so we appreciate y'all. We love y'all, and we'll see you at the 2-minute warning. We talked a little about this yesterday, but I figured we have 10 minutes to discuss this now. It's actually being played on KYC upstairs as we speak, Jay, as their 12 o'clock noon show goes on.
Yeah.
But the big gambling allegations, investigation is what I should
Indictments.
say.
Yeah, indictments.
Indictments. Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, Terry Rozier, Malik Beasley still hanging in the air. You know, the Guardians have had their gambling investigations still pending. I wanted to ask you guys. Gambling is now a part of the daily society. It's legal in a bunch of states, including here in Ohio. We talk about it all the time. We are sponsored by FanDuel. We're not going to pretend we're not. But do you see a world where, with these investigations and more of these things becoming more frequent, that there's ever going to be a point where the sports gambling, and I'll call it an epidemic, but I don't necessarily mean it as an epidemic, the sports gambling epidemic is going to ruin the integrity of professional sports? Do you ever think we'll get to that point, Jay?
Ruin is a really, really powerful word. I will say this. Before the news came out yesterday about the FBI's investigation, Adam Silver had made comments about maybe we need to look at what we allow for people to place bets on. And I think this is what's coming. Because could it erode the integrity? I don't know if it will ruin the integrity of game, but here's the thing. If there are people asking this question today, and there are, is what I'm seeing real? Like, is it being impacted at all because people are allowed to bet on games? I think we've seen definitively that the answer to that is no. It's fair to ask that question.
Yeah, but that question's always been there.
It has
whether
always
gambling
been
is
there.
legal or not.
However, now that it's so open and so readily available, it only stands to reason to always remember this. Wherever there is money, there will be corruption. And they will never eliminate that corruption. It's on the NBA and the leagues, by the way, to eliminate the possibility of corruption and ultimately integrity eroding. And and Adam Silver was on the right track. And by the way, Adam Silver was the first sports commissioner to mention, well, why aren't we embracing gambling? Because forever at ESPN, we were not allowed to talk point spreads.
Right.
It was verboten. Like, we couldn't do it. And now Adam Silver knocked that gate down. He said, hey, let's embrace this. Let's have fun with it. And he is also the first commissioner that I'm aware of. I haven't heard baseball or football talk about this yet, about maybe we have to be smarter about what we allow bets to be placed on. And I'm speaking specifically of the player prop bets. I think those will go away. You're not going to put the genie back in the bottle. You've opened the door to a multi-billion-dollar a year operation. It's here to stay, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to totally go away, the prop bets, ever.
Not the prop bets, the player prop bets.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go away.
I feel like that's where we're headed. Because
Maybe you'll have to be a guy who typically plays a certain amount to make they won't take the bottom of the roster.
Well,
guys.
you can nullify a bet like it's minimum 12 minutes or minimum 24 minutes.
And you could they, in theory, could say you can only bet on the over on these things, not on the under. You could do that in theory.
Yeah, I just think
that?
that something is coming. Something has to change because
why would they change anything?
I don't think they're going to. I'm just throwing out.
The reason I can answer that. I can answer the reason why they would change things.
Yeah.
Is because we've had major investigations now in all three sports.
But there's always been throughout the history of sports.
But not like this.
It was much worse back in the day. What are you talking about?
Well, we've had professional gambling for the majority of the states for 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've had name the pre-legalized betting scandals in sports.
You had the LSU scandal. I mean the CN,
you had Boston College,
CCNY scandal in New York, the LIU scandal in like the 50s.
Oh, okay, well,
but Jay, you were less likely to catch it then than you are now.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. But Bull, so someone from I don't even know how to phrase this.
The Black Sox scandal. I mean, all these.
Yeah, no, there have been scandals. Pete Rose, for crying out loud. But what I'm saying is, it is so easy to fix it now, to fix a bet, just one bet.
What do you mean to fix a bet?
To make sure that it pays. Like if I'm a player,
Ortiz.
Yeah, I mean,
spike one pitch.
Sure. And I get the mental calculus for these players is I'm not killing my player or my team. If I throw the first pitch ball in a 3-run game, I'm pretty confident I'm going to hold the save.
Legal gambling makes it easier to catch guys.
All this 100%. You're absolutely right on that.
I think I'm coming around on that. Yeah. I was thinking about this last night.
Oh, it does make it easier to catch them.
Because I think that the guardrails, this is going to get worse before it gets better.
I agree with that, too. There are more names coming.
Oh, yeah.
Wait until they start to talk to get better deals.
It started with 5 names. Now we're at 30 names. Yeah, those are the 3 that everybody knows. There was a lot of other people swept up yesterday.
Yep.
So now when these 30, 34, 35 people start talking,
right,
who's going to be caught in the next net?
That's going to be where it becomes an eye-popping scandal.
So it's going to get worse before it gets better. But I do think that by legal, because I said the same thing for years. I thought, man, what is these leagues doing getting in bed with these gambling companies? But at the same time, now they're going to start making examples of these guys.
That's right.
It's almost like the drug testing in baseball of it got really, really bad. And now I think they do a pretty good job of policing some of this.
The sports books definitely help them catch them, for the record.
There are algorithms that they're finding the cheaters.
Yeah.
So
the ones that are doing it systemically and on a big scale.
So now the players are going to start realizing it's not worth it.
I hope so.
When they make an example of Luis Ortiz
Did you see
and
the
Emmanuel
conversation
Clase.
last night between Kenny Smith and Charles Barkley?
No.
Try to take 3 minutes today and watch it. It was contentious. Barkley was legitimately pissed off at Kenny Smith. Kenny made a point to say the one thing that's being overlooked here is this is an addiction. And he wasn't making.
For some people, it is, yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's what he said. He goes, "You're talking about players and coaches that have made $100 million plus during the course of their careers. They're not doing this necessarily because they need the money. They're doing this for the rush and to feed their addiction."
Right. But as a addicted gambler,
yes,
you could. That's not an excuse to me.
No, it's not an excuse.
Because
He wasn't using it as an excuse. By
when
the way.
I was a bettor, I bet on things like I didn't bet on everything. Just don't bet on your own sport.
Yeah.
You could bet on a million other things and still feed
Well,
that
in your
need.
case, you could have bet everything because you
first
weren't
and foremost,
a professional player.
first and
You had no
foremost.
guardrails. But
Right.
what Kenny's point was, guys, let's not lose sight of the fact that this is an addiction. Charles, with a strong counter, I mean,
Yeah.
he was legitimately angry. Charles said this, that's not an addiction. This is stupidity. These are guys that are making bets for whatever amount, tens of thousands, when they have millions. That's just stupidity.
The reality of it
Go
is,
ahead,
the original question is, we just skating around this. The fact that we even talked about sports teams having integrity is wild work to start with. What integrity? Like, what are you talking about? There is no integrity. They got in bed with gambling. Guess what? They're printing money. If you think these people, owners, that are billionaires, care about whether or not they sacrifice 3 or 4 millionaire players, they're going to just say, listen, you got caught, you're done, get up out of here,
Right.
we're going to print this
But
money.
that's not the type of
No,
integrity
that's
we're
not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're talking about like, the
If fans
integrity
think the
of the
games are
sport.
fixed.
But guess
can
what?
we trust that what we're watching is real?
Again, this is laughable.
And not wrestling.
When Donahue came out and said what he said, did anybody blink their eyes? He
Yes.
told you.
Yeah, it was
so when he told you that,
But we don't know how trustworthy he is.
but guess what? Fans, it's all a cult. The fans are gonna watch regardless.
If I thought games were fixed, I would not watch.
I wouldn't either, Bull.
Yeah.
I only watch because I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Listen, let me tell you this.
I don't watch
You
wrestling.
think games are fixed?
But I say fans, you see, this is the thing. The
Yeah.
vice is people are gonna gamble, people are gonna drink, people
Yeah.
are gonna smoke. People believe whatever they want to believe. Do you know how difficult it is for me to tell you the games are rigged? Even if it was rigged, you probably wouldn't believe me. The reality of the situation is fans are gonna watch this stuff, they're gonna bet on this stuff, and it does
what
not
percentage
matter.
of the games do you believe the outcome is predetermined?
So let me just tell you this.
Because I think it's zero.
I think it's zero.
I
So
think it's
here's
zero.
the thing.
Hard.
So you're making my question.
Yeah.
Will this eventually ruin the integrity of the game? You just told me in your mind it's 0%.
Right.
So how is this a question?
But do you think? Well, because if that changes down the line,
It's not going to change. It doesn't matter what they come out with. Pete Rose was caught for gambling and was
Right.
banished forever.
Yes.
Do you think baseball games are rigged?
no.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter who got caught cheating.
That's a player cheating individually is different than the
Black,
league.
Black Sox scandal.
Yeah.
You saw it. They cheated, whatever the case may be.
Yes.
Do you think baseball games are now rigged?
I do not.
Okay. So it doesn't
But
matter
G,
how many Chauncey
it's
Billups.
It's not that they're not now. It's if you ask any of the commissioners of professional sports, and Adam
Yeah.
Silver made these comments yesterday. If you ask any commissioners, what is the sacred cow? It's the integrity. Like that's it. That's what that's what they want to protect.
I get what you're saying.
But
I get what you're saying. But there is a step from individual players getting busted for gambling. There's a big step to the league is fixing games, determining outcomes.
Because here's the thing.
You're saying we won't believe it no matter what?
That step is never going to come. People watch sports, and it is intrinsic to their life.
You're right. But wait a second. I want to know, do you believe games are fixed?
I don't believe games are fixed. I think there's people that do nefarious things, but to take the step to say that no matter how many people get busted, it could be 100 basketball players.
I agree with that. But if I found out, if there was real proof that the NBA was orchestrating results of games, I would not watch. I wouldn't personally.
I have been.
I wouldn't either, Bob.
I have been in winning and losing locker rooms of NBA Finals games enough to tell you the outcomes are not rigged and fixed.
No.
I've seen players in tears at end of game,
and there's no way they'd be able to keep that quiet.
But that doesn't mean that they're not messing with the dials
That's true.
in the second and third quarters.
So So my thing is, I can believe that some players tell somebody, "Yo, I'm about to take myself out of this game." Do I believe that the integrity of the sport is up for debate because somebody said that? No. So therefore, my argument is there will never be a point where people en masse come and look at it and say, you know what? This is all rigged. They won't believe
There's
that.
more around the NBA than any other sport.
I agree.
I know the Black Sox. Admittedly,
that was the biggest cheating scandal
there's,
ever,
I mean,
or
the
gambling scandal.
The NBA
ever.
stuff goes all the way back to the frozen envelope in the Knicks and Patrick Ewing,
Yeah.
and then the Donaghy stuff, and I've talked to people who work in the league that still sort of roll their eyes at certain the way certain things work out. They're like, oh, that's got to be a coincidence, right? You're telling me that's a coincidence? So even the people in the league at times feel like there's some manipulation going on.
Look at the Luka trade, and all of a sudden the
got
Mavs
the
trade
first
Luka
overall
to
pick.
the Lakers, and they have the 11th best odds for the first overall pick with a generational prospect coming out,
And
they
I'm
just
like,
happened to get the first overall pick.
I was in the
it's a
room.
lot.
I was in the room the year the Cavs won the lottery to get Kyrie. I've told the story before. Like where they're drawing the ping pong balls. I was sitting in the room. There's 3-4 media members allowed in the room to make sure everything's on the up and up. And Delwatt and Touche, I think at the time, it might still be, was the accounting firm that was in charge. I can't remember now. I think it was Delwatt. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But like a world-renowned accounting firm, and they're pulling these ping pong balls and they're reading the numbers off the wall. If they're rigging that, they got one over on me because I'm looking at this going, there is no way.
You know how many people you have to silence to,
Yes.
you know,
You know how many enemies David Stern made over the years that would love to blow the
But
whistle on him?
if you want to be outraged and go crazy, they got conventions all around the world for people who still believe the Earth is flat. If you really, there's conventions for people that will sit there and take all their time to say
we never went to the moon.
Never went to the moon. So if you telling me that somebody gonna not watch their Cleveland Browns or whatever team they root for, people are not changing. They're gonna print that bag.
In terms of individual
it would
players
have to
betting,
be bigger than
it would have to be huge.
But like you say, there are levels to it. Like right now, and I'm not going to say a number of players that are going to get snared up in this, but
There's more coming.
I was told yesterday that wait until these guys start singing to get better deals.
Yeah.
So right now, and this has been
And
a
it's not just the
2-year
players.
investigation. It's not just players. You're right.
It's the 31 other guys that they swept up yesterday.
You're absolutely
who
right.
are dealing with the players.
And someone yesterday said this to me isn't an NBA scandal. This is a organized crime. And I said yes, but the involvement of the NBA players and the role they played in these rigged poker games was massive. They were the bait to get the other suckers to come to the table.
It's not just the poker. Like
No, it's not.
Chauncey Billups is telling people who he's sitting that night.
Yeah, you can't.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Watch the Charles and Kenny conversation. It was fascinating, and no, ultimately I don't think that this is going to lead to integrity erosion, but it's slow steps, and I just think if you take individual prop bets off the table, there's still plenty of other things to bet on.
I doubt they'll do it though.
Rich people do not willingly take money out of their own pocket.
They never give it back.
See that
They never give it back.
Ever.
Willingly.
Oh, I could go on a rant on that, but I won't.
Willingly.
Instead, let me say happy anniversary to my wife. Today is our 15th anniversary.
Wow.
I love you.
I'm glad you said that. Go ahead, finish.
15th anniversary.
Happy birthday to Alessia, my wife.
Same day.
Birthday on Sunday. But we don't have a show on Sunday,
okay.
so happy birthday, dear.
congratulations.
Happy birthday. You're
Happy
baking right there.
anniversary.
I thought about it earlier in the show. I'm like,
Yeah.
gotta do it at the end. And then
All right, we got
thought
some
I had, so I'm
some
glad you
super
said
chats. Happy anniversary, happy birthday, Alessia.
Yeah.
But we got some super chats to wrap up before we head over to KYC in 4 minutes. Low High says, game idea, if you take the all-time team's best player at every major position, where would the Browns rank? We'll do that another day. We'll do it on the bye week. It's a good bye week exercise, but we can't think about that.
I've actually done that. Me and my dad did it.
We'll
once.
be in touch, G. We'll be in touch. MG23 Raptor said, Tua says he struggles seeing over the line, so what does that mean for Dillon? Miss Bell, who is now Mama Bell 70.
Oh, she changed it. Changed it up.
Now Dillon isn't what he was hyped to be, and we want to give him grace. Does grace stop at third round? Shador hasn't received any. Nobody wants him to not be ready.
She's consistent. I give her credit, man. She's pounding that nail.
She's not backing down.
Pounding that nail.
MG23 Raptor says, young kid, he's almost 30. Stop babying Dillon. He stinks.
Wait, Dillon's
He's 30.
Dillon's not almost
24.
30. Let's pump the brakes on
Called him a
that.
young kid, by the way.
My God.
I'm almost 60. And then if he's almost 30.
Hell, I'm almost
I
70.
said he's 30.
He's not young. Like, he's not young.
No, you know, young was Bernie Kosar. When Bernie Kosar came into the league, he was young.
Yeah.
But he's still in the
Is Baker
front side of
30
his
yet?
20s. Yeah.
24 isn't almost 30.
Baker's 30?
No.
I don't think
Baker's
Baker is
20,
30.
He's probably 29.
29, I
29,
would
yeah, I
guess.
think so.
Oh, man.
Slick as Butter says,
That's almost 30.
last game, Dillon had a couple of wide open players and didn't pass it. He was looking at that person but ended up running. Got about 5 yards when he could have got 10. G. Bush broke that down in his film breakdown. Go check it out.
We watch it live. I say,
Yeah.
throw
We
it.
do. Yep.
Throw it.
It's right there, dog, buddy.
Gooch Dog 4712 says Stefanski is purposely hiding Shedeur from the ones to avoid conflict in the locker room. The game
no doubt.
will tell us the truth.
No doubt.
The hiding trigger bull.
He's in the
bull.
grassy knoll. He's in the grassy knoll. That's a wild one.
That's
right
a
there.
whole. That's a
That
whole
is
nother.
wild.
That
Brody's
trajectory of
bottom
that.
I can't let you guys see how good he is.
Brody's bottom line says Tampa runs a pro-style offense. Browns don't. That's the difference.
And as
Mama
well as
Bell
the talent.
70 says Stefanski needs to stand
Yeah,
on DG,
and
let
4
him
good
play out the
receivers.
season, trade Shedeur or drop him, let Stefanski develop another quarterback in 26 because he's never developed one.
Nah, man, I told you, I can't get behind that. I'm gonna see him play. I can't trade it. I'm not trading him to the Jets. No, I'm not doing that.
By the way, Baker is 30. He'll be 31 in April.
No.
There
Okay.
you go.
God, that
Next
class,
one,
which
He
was
transferred a
seemed
couple
like
times.
they still seemed like they were newcomers.
Yeah.
They get old quick.
Azaruzu says, do you think Kevin blocking Shedeur from first-team reps this offseason has stunted his development?
Amen. Christmas.
Next one. Mark Winfrey says if the Browns are waiting for 2026 for their quarterback, why waste three picks on 2 quarterbacks with all the holes we have? Could have taken a receiver, an offensive line, a safety. It's
What's
a waste.
3 picks?
Smith
2.
Amard says the Jimmy Deshaun pick absolve Kevin and AB from being fired.
I think there's
You
some
said
truth
does
to that.
it?
Does it? Yes.
I think there's some truth to that.
I think it was in the calculus before the season.
And last 2 are involving the Cavs. Brody's bottom line says Cavs don't have a point guard that feeds the post. And James Mace Jr. says this will be the best version of Evan Mobley we ever see.
I believe that.
Better be.
I believe it will be.
It better be.
Oh, that we'll ever see.
We'll
I,
ever
I would
see,
say
yes.
it'd be the
Oh,
best
that
we
we'll
have
ever see?
I think it's the best we have seen.
No, he said it's a statement. This is the best version of Evan Mobley. We will ever see.
Yeah, I hope that's not true. I mean,
he
if
needs
it's
to
true,
keep getting
then we've
better.
hit our ceiling.
We'll see you in WKYC and WKYC Plus in 3 minutes.